Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Kara McKinney. A Biden State Department official is admitting that the left wants to replace Americans with migrants who are more supportive of their policy agenda. An undercover journalist for Project Veritas was able to get the official to even admit it on camera. Watch.
I wish people knew that we're letting in criminals daily. Like when I was in
You have confirmation of that? You have confirmation?
Oh yeah. So all the good, honest, hardworking Mexicans stay in Mexico, and all the pieces of garbage come to the United States. And those are the ones that we let. We are literally, and the Mexican government has no reason to stop it because their garbage goes to another country and then sends money back to them. Like imagine if the worst of the worst, if all the criminals in the United States were all going to Canada and sending back billions of dollars a year. Why would you stop that? I wouldn't even change the numbers of, like, if we let in 100,000 Mexicans a year, I'm like, let in 100,000 Mexicans a year, just change the quality of the applicant. Make the, say 100,000 Mexicans, but you can't have been in the U.S. illegally, and you can't have a criminal record.
So what is the end goal? Why are they allowing it?
They want to change the demographics of the United States.
They really do.
Because, I mean, no, honestly, the people from Nebraska, like my family's like Americans that have, my family's been in the United States for 400 years, traditional standard Americans are not leftists. Latin Americans all leftists. And it's just, it literally is. It's just to try to change the demographics.
Polls all seem to show that Hispanics living in America are much more likely to support gun control, abortion, restrictions on free speech, and expansions to immigration and welfare than non-Hispanic white Americans are. This is another case of what Michael Anton of Hillsdale College and the Claremont Institute calls the celebration parallax, which he defines as follows. The same fact pattern is either true and glorious or false and scurrilous, depending on who states it. In a piece for the American Mind a few years back, he further elaborated, quote, "The left insists that concerns from certain quarters that immigration policy in America and Europe amounts to a great replacement is a dangerous, evil, racist, false conspiracy theory. But a leftist New York Times columnist can write an article entitled, 'We can replace them,' and nothing. Same fundamental point, except she's all for it and her targets aren't. A U.S. Senator can exult that demographic change will doom Republicans. Joe Biden himself can refer to an unrelenting stream of immigration, except they're celebrating it and calling for it. Anyone on the right who uses the exact same words will not merely be denounced. The very fact pattern that is affirmed when Biden says it will be denied when the rightist repeats it," end quote. This Project Veritas video dropped at the same time in which James O'Keefe, with his new O'Keefe Media Group, released its own undercover video, appearing to show a senior vice president at Disney admitting the following.
Certainly, there have been times where, there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
How would they say it?
there's no way we're hiring a white male person. They say
Like straight to you? Or okay.
They'd be very careful how they message that to agents.
Now, going back to the immigration issue for just a moment, there have been a slew of recent murders of American citizens committed by illegal aliens that did not stop Biden from announcing his amnesty plan this past week. 2 Venezuelan men were just arrested in Texas for allegedly raping and strangling to death a 12-year-old girl in Houston, after a mother of 5 was brutally murdered on a popular hiking trail out in Maryland by an illegal alien. But listen to how Joy Reid over at MSNBC and Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal laughed off the rape of yet another young girl, this time a 13-year-old in New York City, who was victimized at the alleged hands of an illegal from Ecuador.
Here's the 3 cable networks reporting of this. Was our banner said, soon Biden announces legal protections for undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens. CNN's banner said, Biden announces new protections for some undocumented spouses. Here was Fox's banner, migrant arrested for raping 13-year-old in New York City. Yes. And so I think that's part of the problem, right?
Exactly.
Is that you have
That's
a lot
part
of
of the
fear-mongering.
I mean, they're sick and depraved. These types only care about rape when the skin color or nationality of the predator is useful for their political ends. If you make up a rape story to bring down someone like a Trump Supreme Court nominee, then Reid and Jayapal are behind you 100% of the way. But if you have the misfortune of actually being raped by someone who is politically useful to them on the left, then expect for your trauma to be laughed off as being irrelevant to the larger discussions at hand.